Perched atop the jagged peaks of the Darkveil Mountains, the ancient castle loomed an abandoned relic, shrouded in mystery. In the villages below, people dared not speak its name. Whispers of ghostly figures and wails echoing down the mountainsides filled their tales, warning of the doom that awaited anyone brave or foolish enough to step foot within its shadowed halls. The castle of Eldermire had long been forsaken, its once majestic towers now entwined with ivy, like skeletal fingers clutching at its decaying walls. Legend held that Lord Faelan, a powerful sorcerer, once reigned from within the castle, renowned for his wisdom and feared for his cruelty. Faelan sought to cheat death through forbidden rituals. But instead of eternal life, he unleashed a curse upon his own kingdom, a curse that sealed the castle in perpetual darkness, its gates bound by forces no mortal could comprehend. In the nearby village, a young scholar named Rowan was consumed by the lore surrounding Eldermire. Years of studying ancient tomes had only deepened his curiosity. He believed the key to understanding the castle's secrets, and perhaps breaking its curse, lay within its haunted walls. And so, against the dire warnings of the village elders, he resolved to explore the forsaken ruin. Armed with little more than a flickering lantern and a book of charms, Rowan began his ascent up the mountain. The air inside the courtyard was heavy, suffocating. A deep silence hung in the air, broken only by the occasional rustling of the overgrown ivy. Rowan stepped cautiously into the great hall, his lantern casting long, trembling shadows against the crumbling stone walls. Strange markings covered every surface, twisting and writhing as if alive. He could feel unseen eyes watching him, tracking his every movement. As he ventured further, the castle seemed to come alive around him. The lantern's flame flickered wildly, casting twisted shadows that danced along the walls. Faint whispers echoed through the corridors, and with each step, Rowan became more certain that something was following him, something ancient and malevolent. Determined not to turn back, Rowan pressed on, descending deeper into the castle's belly. His protective charms felt like hollow words in the face of the growing darkness. Yet he could not stop. Something compelled him forward, deeper into the cursed heart of Eldermire. At last, he reached a circular chamber, its walls etched with glowing runes that pulsed faintly in the darkness. In the center of the room stood an altar, and upon it rested a book, its cover black as night, and seemingly absorbing the light from Rowan's lantern. As he reached for it, the air turned frigid. The whispers grew into a cacophony of voices, filled with malice and hunger. Shadows peeled away from the walls, twisting into grotesque forms with hollow eyes and skeletal hands. Rowan backed away, but the figures advanced, their mouths gaping open in silent screams. The chamber's door slammed shut, trapping him inside. The shadows closed in, and among the whispers, one voice rose above the rest, deep, venomous, and filled with ancient rage. "You seek the truth, but you will find only death." Panicking, Rowan grabbed the black book from the altar, hoping it held the answer. As his hands touched the leather, a jolt of power surged through him, nearly knocking him off his feet. He opened the book, its pages crawling with ancient symbols that seemed to shift and move of their own accord. Desperate, he began to chant the incantations written within. The shadows recoiled, shrieking in pain as Rowan's voice filled the room. But the curse was unyielding. The voice thundered in fury, and the walls began to tremble. Rowan's heart raced as he realized the shadows were growing stronger, feeding off the energy in the room. His words faltered, and the skeletal figures lunged forward, their icy fingers reaching for his throat. In that moment, his eyes caught sight of something, a rune carved into the altar, hidden beneath layers of dust. It was a binding rune, one of release. Without hesitation, Rowan slashed his hand with a shard of glass and pressed his palm to the symbol. Blood trickled down as he chanted the final spell. The castle shook violently. The shadows screamed in agony, their forms disintegrating as the ancient power binding them unraveled. The dark energy swirled around Rowan, tearing at the very fabric of the curse. The voice roared one last time before fading into a ghostly echo. With a deafening crash, the chamber collapsed, and Rowan was swallowed by darkness. When he awoke, he found himself at the foot of the mountain, the dawn light filtering through the fog. The castle was gone, as if it had never been there, but something lingered in the air, an eerie stillness. Rowan stood, shaken but alive, the faint traces of the curse still clinging to his mind. As he turned to leave, a cold shiver ran down his spine from deep within the mountain. He could still hear the faintest whisper calling his name.